Saivai, there was a lot of talk throughout this series. If I had to pick that one word that was used most often, that was the word pitch. How do you rate Ahmedabad's pitch, especially after we saw 3 matches which were helping the spinners, and then you get a benign pitch in Ahmedabad? How do you assess it?
See, the first 3 test matches, there was a lot of concern about the pitches on offer. A lot of people thought that it was too much in favor of the spinners. Though I thought that, if you were a competent batsman, then you could bat on that. Rohit Sharma showed in the first test at Nagpur getting 100, and then later on Akshar Patel showed if you had the patience, if you had the technique, and particularly if you were a tall man, if you had the reach, you could get runs on that. Even in Indore, we had a partnership of 96, and then we had a partnership of 76 in the second innings from the Australians. So clearly, it wasn't an impossible pitch to bat on. This one I thought was possibly looking at the fact that only 22 wickets fell, that it was loaded in favor of the batters. And sometimes, that can happen. It's difficult for curators to always get the balance right. Ideally, you want a pitch which will have a match finishing on the 5th day, sometime around lunchtime or thereabouts, which will mean that there'll be a little bit of to and fro for both the sides. But like I said, it's not easy for the curators to always get the mix right.
Right. Saiva, you're right. It's not easy for the curator, and that's an ideal scenario, that you get a pitch the first 3 days, help the batsmen, then it starts helping the spinners. You would want a pitch like that, but we didn't get a pitch like that throughout this series. If I was to put you in a tough spot and ask you this question, between Indore pitch, which got a below average rating, a poor rating in fact, and the pitch that we witnessed in Ahmedabad, which do you think is better for Test cricket?
I would take the pitch in Nagpur, which if Australia had batted well in the second innings, they got 270. Remember, in the first innings, and then India replied with 400. If Australia had batted better in the second innings, then instead of India winning by an innings, the match could have gone on to the 5th. So the Nagpur pitch was perhaps the kind of pitch that you want to see in India, because there was some turn in it for the spinners. There was, as we saw with our bowlers, new ball bowlers also coming to the party and bowling well, that there was something in it for the quicker bowlers as well. So maybe something like the Nagpur pitch would have been the best pitch for the series.
Okay, let me play the devil's advocate. This Ahmedabad pitch is also coming under a lot of criticism simply because you had 5 days of Test cricket and you only got to see 2.5 innings. No result at all was possible. The batsmen felt very, very comfortable. But there is also a school of thought that maybe beyond the pitch, maybe if the Indian batsmen batted a bit quicker with a better strike rate in the second innings, they could have forced a result. If the Indian bowlers were more penetrative in the second innings, put some pressure on Australia, you could have forced a result. Is there merit in this argument?
Well, there's an element of truth over there, because you saw today the ball was turning and going past the outside edge. So you never know. Sometimes you need those edges to be had. If you're having batters playing and missing, it looks all very, very good on television, but the batter is still there at the crease, not out. So yes, I think maybe if the Indian spinners had a little more time and a lot more runs under their belt as a protection instead of just 91, if they had got maybe 150 lead, then it could have been maybe a different story. But again, these are the ifs and buts of cricket, so they're all very, very good to talk about at the end of the day. But only those out in the middle know that it's not always easy as it looks.